Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. My name is Cindy. You'll be seeing this for February 1st. So, kind of interesting over the weekend, you know who, the former guy, he had a rally in Texas. He said two things that first one was, this is not the worst of it. The first one was, if I win, and if I run and if I win. So he's not even confirming that he's going to run at this point. But if he does, people can expect that where pardons need to be handed out, pardons are going to get handed out. So that's a bit of a, nod to the insurrectionists. Again, that's, sort of, you stay loyal to me and I'll do right by you. And of course, he never does right by anybody. So there's that. But the worst thing that he said, or perhaps not just the most dangerous thing he said, was that, prosecutors everywhere are out to get him. They've been investigating his company for forever. They just want to throw him in jail, if you can imagine that. And he just wants it known that should there be any indictments that come against him, be it in New York or Washington or Georgia or anywhere else, he expects massive riots in the streets. He expects protests. He wants his people out there, just making sure that, they do right by him. Apparently, the Fannie Wills, so she is the, Attorney General maybe for the area, Fulton County perhaps, I'm not sure. But she has now requested additional security for the building, herself, and all of her staff as a result of this kinds of, crazy rhetoric that's going on. So I want to look at that, and I want to take a look at Clarence Thomas and his wife Ginny, because I haven't actually ever done that. So I want to take a look at that. Now, just kind of a little bit of a heads up. At the end of this video, there is going to be a pet parade, okay? So for those of you who are all enamored with my kitty cats, there's going to be a pet parade. So you're going to see the two who live here, who are Nova and Twyla. You're going to see them at the end of the video here in their home. And as most of you know, Jerry, the three-legged part Maine Coon, and Atticus, the gimp-footed, long-haired, just half-feral cutie pie, they live with my daughter Victoria. So yesterday, she sent me, it's about, maybe a minute long, maybe not even, a video of what she deals with when she comes home. And she was gone for a few hours, and she walked back in the door. And, Jerry sits here. Sorry, I'm digressing all over the place. But Jerry sits here when I put him on camera, and he just looks royal and regal and wise and brilliant. So this is the other side of Jerry that you're going to see. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so here we go. Let's take a look at Trump, and then we're going to look at the good judge. So here we go. Come on down. I have a question. Okay, so let's have a bit of a conversation here about the former guy and the messaging that he is sending out at his rallies. What's behind that? What's that about? And, understand, energetically, he is losing grip on the Republican Party. They're not quite as cowed as they have been in the past. I'm not saying that there's any big reform going on there, but, oopsie. Interesting what's at the bottom, right? You got the Six of Cups, right? So trying to go back in time, relive his glory days, etc. Here we go. Donald's current motivations. Donald's current motivations. Donald's current motivations. And now it's the Ace of Wands. So chatter, communications, talking, etc. Let's see what's going on with him. Oh, you know, he's feeling a little slighted because he actually feels like maybe he has to defend himself. Having to defend himself is very upsetting for him and very distressing for him because he feels that it is an attack on his strength. It's an attack on who he is. And we all know what happens when he feels attacked. What's going on right now is that there's a lot of chatter going on from him. And what he's saying is dangerous. It is inflammatory. His words at a rally the last time provoked an insurrection. So his words now are seen as a call to violence. Whether that's his intention or not, you know. But so he's going to keep chattering. What's going on is that he has starting to get some glimmers of how fast things are going to start coming at him. Whether those are indictments or more, you know, leaks about information, investigations or the status of investigations. So there is a real concern there about sort of trying to get his messaging out ahead of time. Because on a basic level, he's not actually liking the choices that he has. You know, he has this sort of fantasy in his head, and I'm still not even convinced that he actually is interested in running again, but he certainly is interested in the attention. He's certainly interested in the fundraising. And so, you know, there's that aspect going around. But he doesn't like the options he's being offered now because he really does see them as destroying his dream. You know, destroying, I don't know, the promise of the autocrat he always wanted to be, or the dictator he always wanted to be. His thinking is becoming more and more confused. And the more confused it becomes, the more kind of erratic he becomes. You know, Lindsey Graham and what's her name? McConnell. Not McConnell. The one who's northeast. She has a stammer. She's been in office for quite a while now. Apparently, their rebukes, Susan Collins. Apparently, their rebukes were, well, that was, you know, inappropriate. That's all they had to say about that fact that he was trying to once again stir up violence in the streets for his political or legal benefit. He's looking at his options, and you know what? It doesn't feel like he has that many. So do you remember kind of the more of the beginning stages of the presidency? I mean, though God knows it went on the whole time, there was always sort of this feeling of like always waiting for the other shoe to drop because it was just, you know, one thing after another, and there was always a feeling that something even worse was right around the corner. Well, that's exactly how he is feeling now, is this sense of he's waiting. He's pretty sure it's not going to go in his favor, and that's just making him, you know, more maybe untethered to the reality of the situation he is facing, his children are facing, his companies are facing. He his behavior is going to become even more incendiary, okay? even more is he going to start to try to stoke the flames, because in some ways that's really all he has left to work with. Okay. But you know what? This doesn't look good for him, this Ten of Swords, because this definitely looks like an ending for him and not an ending on his terms. And it looks like things are, it doesn't look good. Okay. So, yeah, they're going to continue to try to spin their little tricks. But you know what? It's interesting because the law, the White House, the government agencies, they have tricks up their sleeves that we haven't heard about yet, that we don't know about yet. And the cases they're building against him, his cohorts, his companies are strong. And they're a lot stronger than we realize at this point, just as the 1-6 committee has a lot more information than we can even hope to realize. But, this is the thing. When you are the guilty party, you know what they have because you know what you did. Yeah, he really is feeling, hard done by, put upon. And let's think about it. This is somebody who has never ever had to pay for any consequences, and now all of a sudden it feels like every single thing he's ever done is now all the consequences are coming at him. Well, again, hello karma. This is what happens. But he's really struggling to try to kind of get to an end place, get to somewhere where he can see some light. And the only place he ever gets a glimmer of that is that having support is at these rallies. And the more rhetoric and the more threatening or promising, I guess, depending on your viewpoint, he is, the more he receives that adulation that he is so desperate to receive. It's an interesting thing because it actually looks as if some of the partnerships that he has relied on politically are really starting to move to the back. They are starting to break apart. There are, how can I say this? The velocity and the volume of those jumping to his defense is less and quieter. Just less and quieter all the time. If you really think about it, there isn't a lot of defending the guy going on. I guess maybe unless you're watching, one of those very right-wing news. I use the term loosely, organizations. He's not well, and ultimately he's going to be brought down. The law is not going to let him go on this. There's too many. There's too much. And he is not going to be able to hold off the law. And frankly, in its own crazy way, the more kind of nutty he becomes, especially at these rallies, of course, the worse it's going to make. It's going to make it for him, because he never seems to get that his words are going to be used against him. He really does believe on some crazy little level that he truly is above the law. And so because he feels that way, he thinks that he has free reign to say whatever he wants, but he's going to discover that that's not actually how it works. And you can continue to see a deterioration in him physically, from what I can tell. Definitely looks like he's gained some weight. Definitely looks like, I almost want to say like he has, he has some new talking points that he threw out at the Texas rally to see, how much of a fuss they created. Well, they created a fuss, and so you got to know that he's going to be repeating them as often as he can. Ultimately, those that come after him with the knowledge will be victorious. He's not going to be. He's going to be basically, he's basically going to be called on the carpet for the theft. And the theft is huge, whether it's within its companies, whether it is the theft of moral fiber, whether it is the theft of a functioning democracy to what he has reduced the United States to now, which is sometimes scary. You'll come through it, but and he has the world here. So, honestly, in this case, particularly because it's being followed by the Eight of Swords, it really does feel like the world as he knows it is coming to an end somewhere down the line, and his life is simply not going to be what he thought it would be. Okay. So there's that. With me, I'm just gonna, put these cards back into the deck. And so I want to take a look at Clarence Thomas. I hope I get that right. I have a habit of inverting his names. But anyways, I hope I got it right this time. So, I think that there is still some chatter, and rightly so in my humble opinion, about the ruling that, he was the only one of the 9 justices who said that, really Trump shouldn't have to, the stuff shouldn't be released from the National Archives because, and again, how much of that had to do with the fact that his wife is very, very involved, from what I can understand and gather, in right-wing kind of, behaviors. And there is, information that indicates that she paid for, I think it was 6 buses or something, to transport people to the rally on the eclipse, which of course we all know then turned into the insurrection. And this is the thing, you don't get the feeling that she's sort of off doing her wifey thing and he's just smiling benevolently on her and just what she wants. That's not what the energy you get. The energy you get is they really are of like mind, and they really have a very a philosophy and attitude, a way of perceiving things that is very much in sync with each other. So, and of course the thing is, which frankly I was kind of shocked to know, that judges up and down are held to a very high standard, and if there is any indicator that there could be some cross, they couldn't be quite as impartial because of their beliefs or because of the people in their lives, they would have to recuse. Well, except at the Supreme Court level where they don't have to. So really, in their own way, those justices in some way, honestly, are above the law, because they don't really have to answer, well, like to anybody. I mean, unless, of course, who is it? I guess the Senate can come after them for bad behavior or whatever. But, so, and this is the thing, and energetically, I'm just going to throw this out. Let's say by in some crazy reality, this Ginny actually gets charged for playing a significant role in the insurrection, which I don't think she can be. She's attached to it because of the people she brought to the rally. But I personally have not heard of any reporting that indicates that she was anywhere near the Capitol Hill. So I don't know that she can actually get kind of dragged in for that. But let's just say somehow or another she ends up in court. So let's just say she, by some fluke, ends up in front of a judge who, tends to be a little bit more right than left in their philosophies. Let's ask ourselves, really, do we really think that some judge at a lower court is going to, support a justice's wife being found guilty? Just asking. So let's take a look at Justice Thomas and his wife, Ginny. Come on down. All right, so here we go. What do we have? Here we go. Cool. Cute. Okay. Judge and wife, judge and wife, judge and wife. Just see what we should see here. Okay. As of right now, the way this energy is reading, it feels as if they are going to be able to kind of move out of this energy that they're in for right now at this time. I don't know that that's going to hold long term, but for right now, this is the energy I'm getting, is that he's really not going to be brought down, and neither is she. Because it's going to be, if it comes to a place where they actually have to defend themselves, it feels as if it's going to be spun in such a way so that, she was just one of those people who truly believed that this was simply a rally. And, she never imagined that it would turn into what it turned into. That feels very much like the spin, should it be necessary. There are some raised eyebrows about sort of his ability to look away from the law for the benefit of, I guess, his beliefs. People have made note of that. People have seen it, and they don't like that behavior. But again, it's really, really hard to go after justices of the Supreme Court in the United States. Okay. So for right now, it looks that she and he are going to be able to sort of carry on with their kind of political beliefs. And, people can raise all the eyebrows they want. He is one judge of 9. And so his ruling, while it may have caused questions, didn't impact the outcome. And so therefore he feels safe making those unpopular rulings, sort of signaling his support. He's very well insulated. Now, that doesn't mean he's not concerned. That doesn't mean he's not worried. Doesn't mean his wife isn't losing sleep. But when it comes right down to it, they have all this protection around them. Now, so now we have the 10 of Swords, the 9 of Swords, and the 2 of Swords. So this becomes interesting because this makes me wonder if down the road, I don't know what down the road is. I wish I could tell you. But if down the road somewhere there isn't something else that comes out, or some more difficult questions to answer that are going to require answers or explanation. In the short term, it looks like they're protected. In the long term, it does not. I don't have my pendulum here. And I've not specifically asked the pendulum which specific justices are going to leave the court. But it may end up, I have always had a feeling that he was going to end up leaving during the course of this presidency, the current Biden administration presidency. And it just has always felt that he somehow is not going to be on the bench. So perhaps it is some illness or some other situation that causes him to feel he needs to, I don't know, the getting's good. It's also interesting that my card for that other guy showed up here, because it makes me almost wonder, given the way who is running off at the mouth, if he doesn't end up saying something that ultimately ends up putting a spotlight where the Thomases do not want a spotlight to go. Yeah. So this is, I have to say, it's a little bit disappointing, but frankly, there's so many fish to fry in this situation. You got to figure some of the guppies are gonna swim on free. For right now, it looks like they're protected or insulated, and they will continue to go on the way they have been. It also looks like somewhere down the line, there could be some significant difficulties. I mean, you've got the 2, the 4, the 9, and the 10 of swords in a clump. That's not, and you got the 5 sitting there too. That's not actually really good news. So it definitely feels like, almost like he's been watched. People are watching him now with a bit more of, I guess, a jaundiced eye or something, right? They're kind of watching and going, where constitutionally is he kind of coming up with these sorts of rulings? And we know that the right are huge proponents of the president having unlimited powers. And the thing is after the last 4.5 years, right, you have to kind of question the fact that they don't question what presidents can get away with those sort of unlimited powers. So, kind of just makes you wonder. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. To my new subscribers, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so grateful for you. I appreciate every comment, every, thumbs up, every view. They're very special to me, and I'm very grateful for the support of this channel. So I'm just going to pause, and I'm going to call in the 2 felines who live here. Hang on a sec. Okay, this is Twyla. She just turned 1 year. I should have worn something not so dark. Hey, it's hard to see her. She just turned. Can you look at the camera and show everybody your pretty face? There you go. She just turned 1 on December 1st. She's still very little for her age. We think she's made it up to 9 pounds on the scale, so we're very excited. But make no mistake, she's a busy little girl, and she just she's just hanging out, living her best life. Okay, somebody's searching for Nova. Well, why don't, if you're going to sit on the table, why don't you sit here so they can see you, for goodness sakes? There we go. Oh, that's a good girl. Beautiful eyes. All right, hold on. I'm gonna pause while we and shed some of the hair while we find Nova. Here we go. This is Nova. Hi, little boy. Nova and Twyla are about 6 weeks apart in age, so he would have turned. I think she turned 1 in December sometimes, or no. She turned 1 in December, so she would have been born sometimes the end of, what is that, November? And I think he was born around the beginning of November. I think basically what we have is 2 Scorpio cats in this house. He's a very good little boy, and they play very nicely together, and they both get a lot of, thumbs up because they didn't knock down our Christmas tree or anything this year. Okay. All right. So off you go, baby. So, hair everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye for now. Thank you so much for being here. And there's going to be the other attachment of Atticus and Jerry, the rock star, following this. Thanks so much. Until next time, take care. Be well. Bye-bye.
Hi. Come here. Come on. Up here. Go on. Hi. That's a good boy, Atticus. I thought this was supposed to be a video of Jerry. He's too busy eating.